Welcome to Three Grown Girls, a podcast where we discuss issues that affect women as they navigate the 21st century. This is a space created by Jamaican women to discuss topics of importance to us. We're talking relationships, money, career, and the varied things in between. Through it all, we encourage women to live their best lives. As women in our 40s and with the benefit of hindsight and experience, we nurture this space, a safe space to explore the lived experiences not only of ourselves, but also of others. Our co hosts include yours truly, Petre, the cool, calm, and collected voice of reason, or, so I'm told, the candid and spirited Caroline, who says what others are thinking but won't say, and Sarah, who always holds us down with an analytical and spiritual viewpoint. Thank you for joining. We are happy you are here. Now, don't forget to share this podcast with a friend and stay tuned.
Hey Petre, hi Carolyn, how are you guys?
Wagwan popcorn.
Hi,
Really?
ladies.
People still say that? Oh my
I know,
goodness,
right?
listeners, do people still say that? Welcome back to our listeners. Thank you for joining us for another podcast. We're so happy that you are here. And as our
Yep.
intro said, please share it with a friend. Do not please share it with a friend. Let
We
them know
need
what
some
we're talking about.
traction.
So today we're talking about who are we in the workplace now? Now that we're in our 40s, right? We're no longer the young, bright ones in the room anymore. And guys, I'm not saying that we're not bright. Please don't come for me, Peter and Caroline.
That was a bold
I'm not
statement.
just saying up. What you mean? I'm still
But
bright.
what I mean is, a commonality that the three of us share is that in our very early 20s, we were in critical roles, pivotal roles, right? Leadership roles.
Yeah,
And most of our career has been that. And for a very long time, we were always the young, bright one in the room. Not exclusively, there were others, but we
right.
were among the young, bright ones. So I wanted to talk about this because the other day I had an epiphany.
All
I,
right.
I recently started a new job, right? Which I love. And it just hit me one day. I have some really wonderful colleagues. Some are in their very early 20s. And then it hit me, oh my goodness, that's no longer me. I'm no longer the young bright one in the room. Right? In comes the young millennials. I know Gen Z, right? So I shared this with Peter and Caroline, and they were like, "Duh, Sarah, we haven't been for a while now." So we wanted to talk about it. So maybe start on Caroline Kiss
Lord God.
first. Caroline, how do you feel about that? When me say we're no longer the young bright one in the room, right? That we have to make space for Gen Z now, and their work ethics is sometimes very different from ours and how them see things. So what you want to say?
Why? I think I came to that realization before you, so I'm not as shocked as you. So when you talk about it, I'm like, da Sarah. But I think that okay, for me, I work in a I work in an organization environment where you have more mature people working. So we
Mm-hmm.
do not have a lot of, I don't interact with a lot of young people like you do, Sarah. So
Right.
we basically need people who come with, years of experience and are experienced in the field and know what they're doing. So I don't feel as old as you do because I'm working with people older than me, and even if they're younger than me, we're still, within age range. I'm not working with 20 and 19-year-old. I don't even think we have like, yeah, not a lot of young people working there. But I think what I find happening to me is that I don't have the drive to care. I don't have the drive to care. I've been telling you guys I want a 9 to 5. I go to work at 9 o'clock, I'm done at 5 o'clock. If
Yeah.
you're asking anything of me outside of that, it's too much. So I think I'm in my not winding down phase, but I'm more
Chill.
settled with
Mm-hmm.
where I am, and
Yeah.
what I'm doing. But no, I shouldn't be, but that's how I feel now. But every
Mm-hmm.
now and then the bug bite me like, you really should be doing more, career wise. But then I'm like, nah. So I think I might be aging in the workplace, but I am aging gracefully, Sarah.
Me too. Me too.
I love
At
Trust.
work,
it.
at work, at work.
Yeah, at work. Let's not age gracefully otherwise, but yeah, at work.
You know, funny enough, in a Sarah, there's a young lady in my office, and that her response to that would be, "Don't at me," right? Like,
Don't
"Don't
what?
at me," which is, of course, a kind of signal to social media speak, where you mention somebody when you mention them in a post, right? So
Ah,
she'd be
now
like,
learn.
"Don't come for me, don't at me," right?
That's
And
new,
Ah,
teacher. That's
I
new to me. I never hear that yet.
yeah,
exactly,
new
but
to
I
me
say
too, but I
that
get it. I get it.
I
Yeah.
say that to say this, that like Sarah, I recently kind of had the epiphany that, wait, hold on, I'm no longer I'm no longer the young one in the room. However, I must hasten to add, I'm still the bright one in the room, right?
We all are, duh.
Yeah, duh, right? but I think though, ladies, that it happens to you sooner or later, where whether it is in conversation with somebody younger or somebody's younger in your unit or in your organization, that it occurs to you that, oh my God, I'm no longer 20 something. And I think it gives
Mm-hmm.
you pause. I mean, you may be able to rebound, and I'm sure that Sarah and I will get there in the same place that you're at, Carol. But I think I'm still
Yeah.
kind of in that zone of, oh my God, what does this really mean for me? It gives me pause, and I'm now in a state of like contemplating what it should mean and what it in
Right.
fact mean. But it
Okay.
Yeah.
kind of kicked me in the face recently. I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? No longer
Yeah.
the sprightly 20 something in the office. It's or it can be very sobering.
Yeah, and that's what it is for me as well, P. It was one of those things where I'm saying, oh my goodness, I'm not in my 20s anymore, nor even my 30s. I'm approaching mid 40s, right? So
Wow.
it was more about the aging thing for me
Okay.
and identity, right? So it's like an involuntary pivot. Like you're pivoted out of that now into something else. And um I agree with you, Caroline, and I think that soberness is because we've had some amount of, professional success,
Right.
and we're really coming into our own, and we're focusing on purpose more. And for me, it's not so much about, how match myself against them. I
Right.
don't. It's more about what's my identity now. What role am I playing now, right? Because you can be the bright one in the room at
At
any
any
age,
age, right?
Yes,
right?
exactly.
True.
Um, but because we're in leadership roles so young, the bride always attached to the age as well, right? So because I've worked with mature persons as well,
Right.
people who are post retirement, and I think they still have value, right?
Of
Because I
course.
I have had colleagues that are in their second and third career. They may not be as fast with technology, and I believe I should be patient with them because
Right.
I know the Gen Z I look at me and say I roll them eyeball certain things. And I need Gen Z to be patient with me. So I'm
Yes,
going to be patient with my older esteemed colleagues, right?
yeah.
And and I know you have some young people in the room that will behave like you're old and when you're doing you need to go home, right? But I'm not that person for those who are ahead of me, and I don't want anybody to be that for me. Fortunate for me, the situation that I'm now in is that the very young people I'm working with, them have manners. They
Good for
have
you.
That's
respect.
important. Put some respect on my name.
No, no, no. That's very important for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have respect and We come together as a team and work as a team.
Yeah.
Where I have the challenge, even though I haven't had the experience, but I've seen it. Where I have the challenge is when Gen Z them come in at the workplace and don't have no manners,
Yeah.
right? That's where I have the challenge, right? But I have a question, a follow-up question for you guys, right? So in this change in identity, what I find is that I feel compelled now to kind of offer wisdom to the younger ones, right? In whatever way, whether deliberate or just as we go about our day, drop gems here or there. I feel compelled, and you know me, I love young people, and I feel a calling to work with young people generally, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like those of us who are ahead should be investing, or we should feel compelled to invest in them. What do you guys think? You feel that way in the workplace? I want to feel about that.
No, sir. No feel so.
Carol.
And honestly, don't laugh. I think it's because Sarah, in your capacity, working with them, it's you're nurturing a lot of them and helping them to build. But in a
But that's
competitive
everywhere I
environment,
go, That's everywhere I go. Everywhere
okay,
I've worked, I always pick out the young people and want to invest in them. You know what
yeah,
I
me
mean?
not have
Yeah.
that. I'm not that
Nurturing. Yeah, I
person.
want to
No, no, no,
nurture.
no. I just think that everybody a colleague and everybody depend on them own really. I mean, if I am asked to
It's
mentor somebody or tutor or coach somebody in a particular area, I'm happy to do it. But me not believe in a taking them under my wings, and I'm not that person.
not
But
necessarily take on the wing, you know. You know what I mean?
yeah, man, you want to nurture everybody and make sure everybody all right and this and that. But I tell you seminar these. But what you find though, and this is something that I learned in HR. You have, I'm not sure if you guys hearing me, but what I've learned is
Yes.
that, it's something I learned in HR that you need to have different generations in the workplace.
100%.
That's the
Diversity.
only way it
Yeah.
can work. And everybody brings value.
Yes.
Right? And
100%.
yeah, as you mature, your value might change. You might not be the one that somebody call with a technical computer issue. Right? But if it comes on to something that requires analysis or critical thinking, you might be the first call. So it's
Yes.
important to have, like sandwich generations in the workplace, and everybody brings something, and everybody must be nurtured. And I know that, you have to treat people in different generations differently because our needs are different.
Yes.
Right? You know that these young people, they're not going to stay long. They want the excitement, they want the flexibility of work and different things. You find that maybe a generation Y, which I'm on the cusp of, we are more stable in our work. And we don't need much prompting and motivation to get the work done. So I just think it's different generation in the workplace, and being cognizant of that and treating everybody different. But in terms of wanting to nurture people, nah.
What about you,
Um,
T?
no, I'm with you, Sarah. I do feel a certain level of empathy toward our younger um team members, right? So I manage a team of people who are, most of them are in their 20s and
Mm-hmm.
are just about 30 and early 30s. And like for example, we're currently running a campaign around mental wellness and so on. And I have a little chair in my office that I call my wellness bench. And every
I
Okay.
so
like
often I
that.
have a stream of people coming in just to have a conversation about whatever. So even when you talk about the nurturing, sometimes it's about technical competencies in different things, but also sometimes it's just creating a kind of safe space where
Yes.
when Gen
Yes.
Zs get a little hyped up, right, or concerned about something, there is a kind of safe space for them to come in and we can have a conversation about it. And quite frankly, in those kinds of engagements, I find that I too benefit. So
Yes,
yes,
that's
I
true.
drop some gems, but you'll be amazed at the kind of insight that you can get from our younger folks. And I would agree with you, Carol, that I too really believe in diversity in the workplace. I find that when you have a diverse team in terms of gender, in terms of age range of people, in terms of competencies, the team really thrives. There may be a little
It
bit
does.
of friction sometimes because people may come to an encounter with sort of like preconceived notions about who
Right.
these are versus who the older folks are and so on. And I find that by engaging with each other, suddenly they realize that, okay, she old, but she not cool, or she old.
Right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then you're like, so them hype, but them have some good ideas, as an older person in the space. And so, yeah, I'm really all about creating a nurturing environment for all staff. But I find that sometimes our young people, even though they're smart and energetic and so on, do require some amount of hand holding so that the overall team can gel and we can get the kind of results that we want.
Yeah. And I want to be very clear that when I say the young bright one them, and not all the young people, right?
I'm happy that you said that. I'm happy that we're going there.
Yeah, that was
Because,
just the
yeah,
that was just the catch, okay?
Yes.
But I do agree with you all that we need all generations, and I
yeah,
respect. I've had wonderful working relationships, particularly in my previous posting where I was people in the 60s, 70s that bring value.
Yeah.
And I remember someone from that previous job calling me saying, so them slowy. I say, don't go there.
Color boosted.
Everybody have value, and we need to exercise patience and grace. Me know Carolyn. Them soon start call me Grace. But anyway,
I believe so.
Yeah.
Grace. So I didn't even entertain the conversation where they were going, because that colleague that they're talking about brings so much value, and that's the person that is going to catch every single detail,
Right.
things that we miss.
Yeah.
Right. So. And also, I just want to say, in terms of nurturing, I don't want it to sound like a pandering way or, but whatever way you see to impact the other one, right?
Yes.
So if they're doing well and they're on a good trajectory, is to be able to say, you're the good. I think these are the strengths that I see in you, and I think you're gonna do great. It does so much for them. You understand?
Yeah.
And because I know I benefited from that, and I still benefit from that, right? Older colleagues that speaking to me, colleagues that are in their 60s, and they were speaking to me and say, Sarah, this is what I see in you. Sometimes the imposter syndrome sets in where I'm concerned, and it really uplifts me, right? I also wanted to ask about the Gen Z work ethic. When I talk about millennials, like, what you guys think about how they operate in the workplace? Caroline was talking about earlier, they're ready to jump from job to job. I think P, you alluded to them can be very hype. Let me tell you something. You see the hype up Gen Z them, me not have no time for the hype on them in the workplace. Calm yourself. Calm down, miss.
Yeah.
Right? The world was spinning before you were born.
Yeah.
Okay, calm down. But I'm gonna start with Peter first, because I know.
No,
I had to say.
I think Gen Z, and this is just generally now looking at it from even like new reports that I've seen in magazines and stuff. They really do have a different kind of way of operating. So nobody's sticking around for 5 years.
Yeah,
they're pretty much in and out. It's on to the next thing. And boy, I don't know. The idea, we had this kind of, and certainly as a Jamaican and how we're raised, I think in the Caribbean, this idea of paying your dues. I find that younger people are quite impatient of paying your dues. You feel like, okay, my dues paying is I went to college, I have a master's degree, I come with my creds, and you need to put some respect on my name and pay me my money and let me keep it moving.
Yes,
right?
That's the attitude. Yeah.
No real respect for process and so on. So I'm not saying you need to come in and spend 10 years, but you need to come in, get a lay of the land, put in some time, be stressed a little bit. And then of course get your just desserts. No problem with that. So they're very, very impatient of success, I find. And boy, sometimes a little bit, them have a little headache and it's like, boy, they can't make it to work, Yeah. Whereas older people are like, you're pushing through it, you pop 2 pills and you're on the job. Yeah. But
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
will go back to the point you made earlier, Sarah, about the nurturing. I think when you do engage with our young people, you find that you then help them with some of those things to understand that, look, I understand that you're
Yes.
eager to realize success, to make your money, to thrive, to be promoted, and so on. But you do have to give some kind of space for process and for dues paying. You know what I mean? You don't have to kill
Yes,
yourself,
yes.
but you have to pay some dues.
Yeah,
You know?
agreed.
Yeah.
Miss Brian.
I you know what? I have the opposite view, honestly. And I think that is why I don't believe it is really, when you come into the workplace, come ready,
Mm-hmm.
right? And come ready to learn. Come ready to put your education and all the things that you're taught in to use. But I really don't think anybody needs to pay any dues. That is the mistake our generation make,
Okay.
right? Because I remember, being a young person, a young manager, and I got the same pushback. Like, you just come out of university and know nothing about the business and this and that. But I am coming with what I have learned, right? I come with innovation. I'm coming with, a new perspective and all of that. So give young people a chance to be who they can and come and do the work that you're paying them to do. But I don't know if that's what you mean, P. But when people talk about paying your dues, it's usually about taking any work until you build yourself up. For me, I went straight to the top. When we
Mm-hmm.
finish university and everything, we never know paid use business because I done broke and need money. I need car, I need things. So
Yeah.
I now pay no 10 years dues and a 5 years dues till me get there. And I find, especially in government, that was usually the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I don't know if I like the paid use thing. Of course, you have to come in and humble yourself and learn from those who are more experienced than you.
Yeah.
Right? But you can learn on the job and you can learn the business while you're there. So that is why they're trusting you.
Right.
So
So, but
I
it's what,
think,
but that's the point, Carol. The point, and that's what
mhm,
paying your dues is. I think sometimes people have this misconception that it means you're going to come and slave away without getting your
yes,
desserts. That's not what I'm saying at
right.
all. I'm saying you
Okay.
have to give space to know that there are certain processes, for example, that have to be observed to make a business really
Right.
thrive. So,
Come
yes,
in and
and
learn
your
the
friends,
job.
but you also have to give your leaders, your supervisors, and so on the grace to lead you. You don't
Yes,
just jump
Yes.
out
definitely.
and come 2 days
Definitely.
into the job and run off the business.
Definitely.
Yes. And I think I'm somewhere in the middle of both of you, even though I think you guys are now agreeing in that. I think what you mean, P, is that hopping from job to job, job to job. That's what you meant?
That's a part of
Right.
it. They're
Yeah.
hopping from job to job. But I'm saying also when you come into an entity, I think you need to give yourself a little time to adjust to the particular circumstances of the entity.
Yes,
And in that way,
definitely.
you're able to make a really valuable contribution. 'Cause in other words,
Right.
you're not going half cocked.
Right, right,
Right.
Yeah,
right. And
Fair
and you
enough.
you should be able to work through some stuff
of course.
and not feel the need to run off to a new job just because you hit some challenge or just because you hit some hurdle. And
Exactly.
that's why I'm saying I'm kind of in the middle because having spent 13 years at one place, yes, 13, and oftentimes, there were gains in that role, right? I'm not going to knock it, tremendous gains. But it was about we're sacrificing moving on because we believe in this vision of where we're trying to get to.
Hmm.
And I'm going to stick it out to get to that vision. I'm not sure I am there anymore. I'm very Gen Z defied with that now.
Ditto.
Not to say that I need to step into a perfect work situation, and not
Mhm.
to say I won't try and work things out and make my contribution for as long as I can.
Hmm.
But that sacrificial work of staying year after year after year after year, if the environment is not fitting to where I see myself
Hmm.
going career wise, or there are some very challenging or toxic situations that you have to put up with. I'm not promising anybody
Hmm.
I'm doing that again.
Hmm.
Not to say that I'm going to be hopping from job to job, but what I find is that on this side of 40, and I've said it so much, and because you guys know I'm career pivoting, right? Um, I'm trying to be very clear and direct and deliberate in where I want my career to go, right?
Mhm.
And so if I start something and I'm working through and it's not aligning, I'm going to try as long as I can, but I can't do it forever. I don't have the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't have the time. I'm 43. I don't have the time. Right?
Yeah.
Or I probably have some Gen Z tendency because I hop like hell. I've been hopping forever. I think I've
Mhm.
just settling down. I've always been hopping. And it's not because of any inter-office politics or because I hate the job. It was just
Yeah.
my nature. I'm always looking
Yeah.
for more money, to be honest, and I'm always looking for more challenge. But if I see a job that pays more money, I am going.
But no, no,
I
no.
mean,
But I think,
I
I
don't,
think, I think.
honestly, I don't do it now because right now I have to think long term in terms of what I want. But when I was younger,
Pension and stuff.
You're
I would
all over.
jump from job to job. I was all over, working banks, government, everywhere you can think of. Maybe work there one time,
Yeah. And
right? I
funny,
don't think.
funny enough,
Go
I'm
ahead,
sure,
please.
Kara, that it has helped to now make you sort of very like a textured employee, like a mature,
Oh yes,
textured, savvy
oh yes, yes,
person. But and I agree with you, ladies. Like I myself, Sarah, I love what you say. You say you've been Gen Z-ified. So have
Yes.
I, and this is what I'm saying, that there's a real benefit to having younger people in your space because
Yes.
you kind of had some old school ideas and then you realize about so you're not in one place for 13 years though. So my first job was 13
exactly.
years and I'm never doing that again. First of all, I
Yeah, I've never been there that long.
you don't function at your optimum after 13
No,
years. I don't
sir.
you get bored, you're distracted, you're no. And I want to be very important to me is to be stretched. So after I'm
Yes,
doing
Yes.
something for a
Yes.
while, I'm like, okay,
yes,
we need to do something else so we can upskill and we can make a different kind of
definitely.
contribution. And yes, I'm all about the money. We have to make that
Exactly. I think
Yeah.
spending all these years in one job, it just shows commitment and nothing else.
Yes, yeah,
And why do I want to be committed to one work?
yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah,
Yeah, but it was the way of the world. But Gen Z are like, we're not doing it. We're unhappy. We're going.
yeah.
First of all, a lot of them they have an entrepreneurial mind. So
Hmm.
they're
Yes.
thinking, making money and doing it for themselves and all of that. And I totally encourage that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. I think where we went off wrong, what Gen Z is now showing us is that your career is really about you.
yeah.
It is.
Your
It is.
your career is about you and your dreams,
Hmm.
Yes.
and you do not owe anyone and their organization 13
Hmm.
years to slave over it. You really don't.
Yeah.
But
That type of slaving over must be your own thing, like you're running your own business.
Hmm.
Not to say if things are shaky, you're gonna just hop and jump. I'm like, okay, I can't bother with this. No,
Hmm.
that's not what I'm saying, and I hope the listeners don't think that's what we're saying, right?
No. Yeah.
But what has to always be clearly in focus is what do I want for my career right
yes,
now,
you have to. Yes.
right? What contribution do I want to make? What
Yes.
fulfillment do I need? I need more money, which is always good.
Good. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
mean,
It is
it's
always,
not the sole thing
yes.
because for
Yeah.
me, it's number two. Honestly, I need job satisfaction as number one,
Yeah.
right? For me, right? But I'm okay with somebody saying that money is number one for them. Because I can't tell my husband nothing. The money is
Money.
number one. Okay.
Yeah.
Money is number one for me too.
Yeah.
But I think they have helped us to see, that we don't have to stay enslaved. And there's so many people in my generation that
Mhm.
do this at this one place 13, 20 years. I have friends who are probably just they're on 16 now or 20 odd years in where they are, right?
But you see,
And a lot of them are unhappy.
and that is the point, Sarah.
I think that's the
Yeah.
point. Yes.
If you are there for 13, 20 years and you are okay, you feel satisfied and so on, then all right, fine, do what you do. But a lot of people are quite miserable and they're stuck in a rut, just chugging away, in misery, which I think is just crazy.
And I think
Yeah.
that is the tragedy for me because I have no problem with somebody staying in a job forever. If
Mm-hmm.
they like it, they love their job, they like what they're doing, and you're benefiting from it, right? So you
Yeah.
stay there if you want. Not everybody needs to job hop or find the next best thing. If you
Mm-hmm.
like what you do, stay with what you do, because a doctor isn't just going to change your career
No,
overnight
no,
and go be
no.
something
Yeah.
else, right? And a lawyer is not going to stop being a lawyer, because they'll probably change organization, but you're still a lawyer. So for me, it's not
Right.
the job itself. You can stay in a job forever, but you should be getting from that job what you need career
That's the
wise.
point.
Yeah.
That
Yes, you
part.
have to be getting what you
Yeah.
need from it.
As my manager always said, that part. If you hear some words, yeah, that part there is about, if you're in a situation where it is draining you, it's
Yes,
toxic, you're not
Mm-hmm.
growing, you're not stretching, you have contributed all that you can to that
yes.
organization. Why are we still there?
Mm-hmm.
And
Right?
Yeah.
you can imagine getting up every morning to go to work. And that has always been my gauge, though. If I don't like the work and I get up and I don't want to go, I know it's time to start looking.
Yeah.
And that has always been my marker. Honestly, if I'm going somewhere and I realize this job is, I'm not happy to go there, I am not going to stay. And that is it. If you don't want to go to work, and going to work is a big dread for you, other than Monday morning blues, which everybody have. But you
Mm-hmm.
have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday blues to go to
Been
work.
there. I've
Yeah.
You
been
should be
there. Have you
looking.
ever
Yeah.
been
You
driving
really
to work
should.
and crying? Ever been driving to work and crying?
No,
I've been there.
are
Wow.
you crazy? I
No,
would
no,
Yeah, I've
I,
been
go out of
there.
there so fast.
but you see, right, that's the thing, guys. You have to, and this again is what I think I like about Gen Z. You really get a chance to check yourself. I've never got to the place where I'm in a certain level of misery and then I feel I have to leave. No, no. I gauge, I'm like, okay, I've done what I needed to do here. I need a new challenge. Or, okay, I'm done trying to bargain every time for an increase in salary. We need to keep it stepping. And
Yeah,
Yeah,
you kind of you preempt the bitterness and the feeling
I
and
do.
the
I
falling
do.
apart. Yeah.
yeah. But
I
what
do.
about the tech guys? Let's talk about tech.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys keeping up with tech in the workplace? Like the Gen Z, I mean, we were a cusp generation, right? So we can appreciate pre and post tech age,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But these people like my picnic, them born with the tablet in them and the computer and they're very tech savvy and they know all the things. Are you guys keeping up?
And this is what I will say to that. And this is why, again, it's important to have the young people in the space because I find that the younger
So you're
people
not
in
keep
my
up in.
unit, no, 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 don't do that. I'm telling you, they help to keep you sharp. And suddenly, from a more philosophical point of view, I realize why it is an asset maybe to have children. Because in my household, is my daughter who is 8 who can whip out her tablet and say, "Oh, but mommy, you can do it this way, boom, boom, boom." And it's the same thing in my office. Like, and so what you find in the context of work too, when you have your Gen Z folks in there, they help to kind of stimulate your thirst for continued information and to keep current. So am I
Yeah.
wholesale keeping up with all of the tech? Definitely not. First of all, you have managerial duties to do. Like me can, I can't be on every little thing. But the younger people help to kind of keep me in the flow, and then ever so often, I give them some wonderful context about how we can put the new stuff to
Hmm.
use.
Yeah.
And I find that it's the best of both worlds. So I'm really feeling the young folks. I really am. Love them to death.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep up with the tech. I think I'm better than some people, but
Yeah,
certainly not where I could be, but I'm trying.
yeah.
Like be
It's
patient
a
with
lot,
me,
don't know,
guys. I'm
Sarah. It's
trying.
a lot.
It's a lot
Yeah,
and it keeps
it
changing.
does. Yeah,
It keeps changing and them just move through the things so fast. I know how to troubleshoot so fast, but I'm trying to keep up because I love tech. I love technology. I'm very open. I'm not one of those like, lad, no, new something. No, I'm not that person,
yeah.
right? But what about you, Caroline Brand?
I think I'm keeping up, but keeping up at my pace.
Mhm.
I think what is most important. You hear me? Because
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
think,
go
yeah,
ahead,
yeah.
yeah,
Carol.
I think what is most important to me is to be industry savvy.
Yeah.
So any
Yeah,
program that we use at work, I'm going to learn it.
me too.
Right? I'm going to make sure that I can troubleshoot it. I'm going to make sure that wherever I am, I can use it. So anything that has to do with projects or HR and all those things, I'll be on top of it.
Mm,
But like the everyday tech that I will call my nephew or say, why this happened to my phone? And he can just quickly tell me, say, Auntie, I need for the so and so and so.
mhm.
And I do it and it gets done. So the everyday tech, I don't think I'm that up to date, but generally I can hold my own.
Mhm.
When
Yeah,
especially
yeah,
when it comes on to industry technology that is being used and how it is used and all of that. Once something new come in, we need to know it,
Yeah.
yeah. Me
right? So
too.
I try to
Yeah,
keep up to date that way. But like
yeah.
Instagram and the WhatsApp
No,
and all
no,
the
no,
rest,
no, no,
those
no.
are
We're
the
not
things
talking.
that I will have
No,
problem with. But
I'm
those
not,
are tech too.
Yeah.
guys. Yeah, I was talking within the work context,
Yeah,
but
man. But in the work context, I'm good. I'm
yeah, but
usually good. Yeah. And if
yeah,
I call IT for something, like usually something, them have to show me what them do.
yeah,
Right? And if me not remember, me tend to write down step by step. So I try to keep up to date, especially when it comes on to, the work that I do and the technologies that I need to know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but no, the other something they want to know me. I'm solely on Instagram and I don't do the reels. I'm not on TikTok. I'm not
Yeah.
tweeting. Is it what they call it now? Xing? Because not tweeting, but people call it now. Since Elon Musk changed it to X. Come on, P, what they
I
call
don't
it?
know. What I don't know
Well,
they call
yeah,
it,
yeah,
mama.
it's called X. That's what it's called. Twitter is now X.
Yeah, yeah, but when you say I'm tweeting, what you say now? I'm Xing?
I have no idea. I think people continue to say they're tweeting. But guys, you know what just happened? We just had an earthquake. Like,
You
yeah,
lie.
like I didn't hear part of our conversation just now because we were having tremors. Like I felt the building shake.
And
Oh my
under the
We went
desk,
through
God.
the,
under the
we went through
under
the
the
whole
desk, I run and scream. I'll be so running and
I
screaming.
this is what I'm saying. I'm trying to figure out what to do. what to do. Oh
I'm holding
no.
my heart right
You
now.
know though that as a matter of information, Jamaica has about 200 tremors, felt tremors per year. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, like just routine. So that's a sidebar.
You want to
um
continue, P?
yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous, but
I don't like
older people
quakes.
in the workplace.
I don't
Yeah,
like earthquakes.
neither
That
do
was
I.
one.
You
Anyway,
see the same fault line that caused the Haiti event in I think it was
I
2010.
know.
We're on the same fault line.
I know because I felt the
Yeah.
earth, the earthy.
Wow. Yes,
I
yes.
felt the 80 earthquake, you know.
Wow.
So, P, are you good to continue? Cara, are you
I'm good to
there?
continue, yeah. Such is the commitment of the older worker.
I know, right?
Hey.
So, yes, there was an earthquake September 21st, 2023 in Jamaica. And Petra, who is physically in Jamaica, Caroline and I are not in Jamaica, but Petra decided to continue to record, right? Such is the commitment of the mature worker. So, please stay tuned for the rest of the conversation. They have to share the little background, little of what was going on. We didn't bother to edit it out. So stay tuned for the rest of the conversation.
But one thing though, I must say, I love the Gen Z energy in the workplace. I love talk to them. I love hear the story them. I love hear their life experiences. I know Carly not care, but I know Petra love
Yeah.
it too. Cause when I
No,
saw
I'm with
Petra,
you. No, I'm with you, Sarah.
I love
100%.
it.
I
I
love it.
love
I
that
love it.
young life, exploring life now, what's
Yeah.
going on. I love the energy, the
Yeah.
pre-stress life, the pre-man problem, pre-picnic, pre-marriage, that nice
Yeah.
early 20s. I love the energy. But um, so we just want to reiterate that everybody, all generation, have value in the workplace, right? But where we are in our 40s now, we're realizing that we're not in our 20s or 30s anymore. We're in a different phase. We're in a different season. It's not any less important. We're not any less bright. Everybody just as bright. Everybody just as articulate, right? But what do we say to the woman that's like us that is probably having this epiphany, like, oh my God, I am older. What value do I have? The 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. What are we saying to these ladies, right? About the value that they still have?
Hmm. Well, I mean, I would say, first of all, it's okay to kind of, if you have that epiphany that, oh my God, I'm not, I'm not the youngest, I'm not the brightest in the room anymore. Um, it's okay. I think that's the first thing. And as you can see from this conversation that we've been having, all of us, are on a spectrum of that consideration.
Mm-hmm.
But I think also one of the good things is, at the end of the day, you need not be daunted by it. I think personally for me, um, I've always kind of put stock in what is the thing I want to be doing in the context of work. I want to be adding value, and I also
Mm-hmm.
want to be compensated, appropriate.
Right.
And at any given time, I kind of doing a little check in with myself to see
Yeah.
if the space that's right for me. How do I need to adjust and keep it stepping, so that at the end of the day, and you ladies said it earlier, that one of the beautiful things that Gen Zs have taught us is that your career really is about you.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so if you remind yourself that a career is about you, you realize it's okay to be the older person or the oldest person in an organization. It's also
Yeah.
okay not to be the smartest, you know what I mean?
Right.
But the point is to be able to continue to learn, to make a space to make some kind of contribution. And where you feel like you've hit a wall with that, then you look at your alternatives. And if you're in your 40 plus and you feel stressed out by being the older person in the context of an entity, then maybe what you need to do is to start exploring ideas to start your own business, where
Mm-hmm.
yes, you're older, but you're also the
Yeah.
one running the show 100% of the time. So again, it's okay to have to deal with this issue, and there are ways of dealing with this issue, to understand that no matter your age or stage, you do bring value, you do have value, and at any given time you can decide to shake things up. You can keep it stepping, or you can find a way to make some kind of contribution that you're comfortable with.
Okay. Perfect. Miss Brian.
I think I'm on that page with UP in terms of, what your value is to the organization. But for me, I think what I try to do is to stay sharp
Yeah.
and not
Yeah.
not worry so much about, who is doing what, who is fresher, who is younger, who is doing, but just to stay sharp and to stay focused and to keep on top of your discipline. So whatever area you're in, you should always try to keep on top of it. Know what the latest technology is in your field, know what the latest whatever it is, just try to stay on top of the work that you're doing. So what that will mean is that you'll always bring value, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not just looking at what used to happen 10, 15, 20 years ago. You're looking at what's current and how it actually applies. So for me, it's really just staying on top of my game. Right. And sometimes it's hard to do because there's so much things coming at you so fast, but it's just important to keep at it. And again, like you said, if you're the oldest one in the organization, so what? As long as you bring your experience, you're adding value to the organization, it shouldn't matter because every generation in the workplace, of working age in the working world has something to offer,
Yeah. Yeah.
And even though Sarah love young people, I find a lot of them not very bright and
Yeah. It's not
not going
synonymous. It's not
not going
synonymous.
very far, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So
not synonymous.
I don't know if, and again, my perspective is going to be a little bit differently, to be honest, because I am not in any position where I'm nurturing young people. And like I said, my industry is really older people that are there. So I don't go to work with a lot of young people. So I don't get to get their energy the way you do, Sarah and P. So there's not a lot of interaction there.
Yeah. And guys, just to say that it's just a catchphrase we were just playing with. We
Yeah.
do not believe that younger you're brighter, older
Right,
you're not as bright.
right.
Your age has nothing to do with how articulate you are, what the value that you bring, right?
Amen.
We just say it as a joke, right?
Hmm.
So don't DM me. Don't come for me. Say,
Don't
I
at
am
me.
I am 50. Don't at me. That new thing P just teach us. Don't at me. This is Sarah. I'm 55 and I'm still sharp. And these young people don't hold a candle to me. And did it? I know, honey. Sit down. That's not what I meant. I'm just
Yes.
kidding around because I have tremendous respect for colleagues that I've had that are
Yeah.
much older than I am. And but you know,
That
little
is.
joke, I am the oldest in my organization. But
Sarah, that's crazy.
it's just a few of
Yeah.
us. It's just a
Are
few
you
of us.
serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't feel any way about it because when you hear me talk about this epiphany, it's not that I see it in a way that I'm in competition with those who are younger than me.
And got your at girl.
It's just or that I have any less value
Yes.
to bring to the table. It was more like identity, like who am I
Right.
now? What
Yes.
season am I in? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I also don't want to come in like anybody's mom. They have their moms. It's not like I'm coming in as your mom to hold in my lap and nurture you. No, it's not like that. But I've always been excited about good talent and people that have that certain je ne sais quoi.
Yes, I
That
think I look for that too. I like talent and bright people,
yes, I
but
love
not
to
But you
see
all
see,
of them bright.
talent. But
and guys, I think what it is, you see, too, sorry, Sarah, is that you find that young people inspire you if you allow them.
Yes,
yes,
that's
yes,
You
true.
know? Yeah.
yes, yes. So I get excited when I have young people that are, and trust me, you guys, if I was working with young people that don't have any manners, I would be singing a different tune because
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
zero tolerance for the ones who believe that they're brighter than everybody and all old people must go sit down, right? I have no tolerance for those. Trust, right? But all generations from the silent generation and I work this anymore. What about the
No.
boomers dead, yeah man, boomers
Yeah,
dead.
boomers are there. We're at boomers coming
Boomers
down
up
now.
to Gen
Yeah.
Z, we all have value. We can all contribute and we can all learn from each other because guess what? As we talk about all the time on this podcast, our decades has given us tremendous wisdom
It
that
has.
they
Yeah.
Yeah.
can benefit from,
Yeah.
right? We can share
Yeah.
our experiences with things that they're going through to say, this is how I handled it when I was your age. And you know what's important for me, guys, is that if they're in leadership roles, or they're pushing out and if they're pushing out and doing their best, that we give them the space to be that best. You know why I say that? My first senior management role, I was 24. And I remember the person that was handing over to me said, it's almost like she didn't want to tell me about the work. It
Yeah.
was
I have.
like, well,
Yeah.
you come, you're the one with a degree, you tell me what you're going to do,
Yeah. That's some
right?
oppressive rubbish right there.
And I went through a lot of it, right? People look for me from my head to my toe. I remember stepping in the elevator, um, and somebody saying, "What you bring? Other people
Mhm.
they not get them degree too. What do you bring to the table? What makes you special? What makes you different?" And I said, Sarah, I'm never going to do that to a young person.
Yeah.
The things that were said to me, I'm not doing it because not because they're young. The ones that are showing promise, we need to let them know that they're showing promise, right? Not that we're trying to be in anybody, madam panda them in any,
Yeah.
condescending way, right? But just as though I'll defend them, I'm also going to defend my colleagues that are in their 60s, that they have
Mhm.
value, right?
Yeah.
So we can just sum up to say, if we say, girl, in your 40s and your 50s, they are going with things, keep going, keep changing, keep pivoting, keep doing your best. And like we always say, live loved, right, guys?
Mhm. Of course. Of course.
Any last words, guys?
No, I think you got it in one there, Sarah.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
said all that was need to be said. We're good.
Okay. Okay. Until next time.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.